here again with Michael Terrell from Building Approvals and Advice to continue our conversation around certification. Welcome back, Michael.
Oh, cheers. Thanks for having me, Andy. Once we've approved the plan, so we've got everything back from the applicant and we've been able to assess that everything's compliant, that's when we issue it to council. So council always get a copy before the applicant and before the builder. Once we've approved it and once we've lodged it with council, then the applicant will get a copy. And the copy what I'm talking about is actually the building approval. So that's what the builder will use. So there'll be conditions, there'll be mandatory requirements, and also the approval plans. So once that's happened, that's when the builder can start on site. So we need to have the builder engaged and all of those conditions understood before the builder starts.
And the terms DA and BA are often thrown around in the building industry. Can you give us we could go into it for a long time, but can you give us a brief outline of what is the difference between a DA and BA?
So a DA in Queensland is related to a development application, which is traditionally town planning. So it's the item that the council has to approve. Once a DA has been obtained, that's when the certifier can issue the BA, which is the building approval. Now, those terms are sometimes interchangeable, but for the most case, the DA relates to town planning and the BA relates to building approvals.
So at King Builders, we encourage clients to engage their builder early on in the design process to work alongside the designer, the architects, the certifiers and the engineers. What do you see as the advantage of having this collaborative approach?
Well, it's really important to start the process and to understand that whole process. Getting all of the industry professionals together at the beginning will mean that you have a streamlined approach. We see it quite often where if the builder or if the engineer is left until too late, there are certain design flaws that can cause issues later on down the track. So we think that communication is absolutely key, and it's actually one of our values, so that we can understand each other, and then also gives the opportunity to make a complete and compliant home at the end, which is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, often we see it can cost the clients more money if they're sort of waiting to the end to engage any of those parties because it hasn't had that collaborative approach. Have you seen that before?
Yes, that's 100% right. It can cost more money because what the certifier will actually check right at the beginning when we do our searches is we'll be looking at overlays. And so those overlays might be for flooding or they might be for traditional building character overlay. So we've seen it quite often when that overlay wasn't picked up right at the beginning. A design can be carried out and then all of a sudden we need to have a 2.5 metre undercroft, and the engineer's already carried out the design, the architect's already gone through, there's already been town planning, and it has to come back to the beginning. So that client has to spend much more money and much more time, when if we picked that up right at the beginning, it could have been designed into the building design. So it is really important to ensure that all of the professionals are engaged as early as possible in the process.
Thanks very much for talking with us. Your knowledge around the build and certification process is invaluable to us.
Oh, no, thanks very much for having us.
If you need any more information about the build or certification process, please get in touch with Mick from Building Approvals Advice or King Builders. We'd love to hear from you.